Welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates with Scott Kerschner and Dave Ross. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. It's 419-794-3030. The website is arhq.com. If you missed the first half of the show or you just want to catch up on previous editions, all available via podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you consume your media, all available for you there. Just search for America's Retirement Headquarters right there for you to check out whenever you are ready. The Bureau of Labor Statistics just put out new numbers that show the average American household needs just over $6,000 to meet their monthly expenses. Guys, when you meet with your clients, is that a common number you see, or do people need more or less in retirement? And follow up real quick, when factoring in Social Security, how attainable is that number?
You know, Dave, you and I have worked on several claims together. We've kind of done the tag team approach, so to speak. And, you know, and that's what I love about being here with the team is how we work together and come up with these numbers and these factors. And I know one of the things that I run into quite frequently is, you know, you sign up for Medicare on the Social Security website. So that always poses questions to me, and, you know, they'll ask, well, should I sign up for Social Security now, or should I wait? Or, you know, so I go through the process that we usually go through, and I ask them some, questions to kind of get a flavor for what they're looking for Social Security to accomplish for them. But one of the things I always tell them, and I usually send them home with homework, and I'll tell them, here's what you need to figure out. How much money do you need a month? You know, because a lot of people, you don't even think about that number, right? When you're working like we are right now, you know, we're getting that paycheck and you know, we're making that money and we're paying the bills and we're enjoying life and we're doing what we do. But when you have to really start to sit down and think and put the numbers to paper, they ask a lot. What I ask them, what do you need? And they really don't know. So, you know, you go through a tabulation of bills and what can you cut and what, you know, things are going to be different in retirement. You know, you may not be driving to work. If you get a half hour or 45-minute drive, you're not going to have that expenses. You know, if you park in a parking garage at the office or whatever, there's a lot of things that are going to change when you are actually in retirement and not working and not you know, going out to lunch or, you know, whatever you do when you were working may change. How do you advise them and help them come up with that number? And is 6,000 what you see?
Each discussion is individualized and everyone's personal situation factors in, so it's not a one size fits all or one size fits most. It's very tailored, and and most importantly, it needs to be flexible because things do change. You know, if I retired today, I'm in good health. What happens in a year if something happens to my health and I can't work, or I can only work half as much? And when you start looking at what that number is, do you need the Social Security to get to that number? Can you use your retirement funds without touching the Social Security, trying to max it out at age 70? All of those things factor in. And I would say that from my perspective as an advisor, we want to leave flexibility in there. So if a person has a retirement age of 68 on Social Security, we get to 68. If they don't need the money, then we try to get to 69.
Sure.
If we get to 69, we don't need it then. Guess what? We get to 70 and we've optimized that benefit.
Yep.
And that is the best case scenario, because Social Security is whatever decision you make, it's final, it's irrevocable, it's for the rest of your life. So it's a very important decision. It should not be taken lightly.
Yeah, you know, you may have to cut out your Netflix or, you know, your morning trip to the designer coffee shop, right? But you have to have some sort of an idea. And if you're, you know, I do run across a lot of people that can rattle that number off right off the top of their head, you know, because they're preparing for it. You know, we're looking to retire. We've kind of put some things in place. We've got a good idea what we're looking for. and you ask them, well, how much are you going to need a month to pay the bills and to live the lifestyle you want? Because that's important as well. Yeah, you can cut out a bunch of the fat, so to speak, in your monthly spending, but are you going to be a hermit and just sit around and do nothing, or do you want to go out and enjoy and do things? That's one of the things that I'll say is, with Nolan and the independent income system, I think is a phenomenal plan that he's put together. And, setting aside these buckets of money, like you said, Dave, if your health changes, I quoted in the last couple of weeks prescription drug costs for a few of the clients that I'm dealing with, and they're on some very expensive drugs. One of them was over $3,500. In fact, you and I met with a client, and if I remember correctly, she was paying somewhere upwards to $4,000 in prescription drug costs a year.
Yeah.
And that money is coming out of her investments, right?
Correct.
I mean,
yes.
in her situation, I think her husband passed away, and now she's working with you on her investments, and that money's coming out of her investments. And that's why you hooked her up with me in, trying to help her see if there's a better plan. The unfortunate thing is we weren't able to help her right now, but during AEP is when we're really going to be able to put a better game plan together. You probably have several clients in that situation. Would you not agree?
You know what else I would say? I think in the old days when people all had pensions,
Yeah.
it was so easy to say, okay, this is my number. This is what my pension's going to be. This is what my Social Security is going to be. Can I live on that? And if you had a dual income household, you had that times 2 people. But today, pensions are becoming a thing of the past.
Right.
You have your 401k. They're not offering pensions. And a lot of companies that offer pensions, they're trying to get out of them by offering you a cash payment sweetener to say, okay, I don't need that pension benefit. Pension plans are expensive. And I would say that because of the lack of pensions or the diminishing number of them, it makes coming up with that number a little bit more difficult, a little harder.
Sure. Yeah, and that makes perfect sense.
I will say this, talking about the numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it does say the average American household needs that $6,000 mark. Mm-hmm. You may have been listening and said, I can't get by on just that much, or, how am I possibly going to, get to that much? Well, here's the thing. Average. It's not necessarily going to work for everybody out there. What's most important is the number that you need for your retirement and how to get to that number. Maybe it is largely to Social Security. Maybe you've got a lot of assets out there and you can delay taking Social Security to just let that money accumulate so that your benefit is larger down the line. But you don't know until you sit down with a team like America's Retirement Headquarters, run those numbers, figure out what is going to work best for you. To do that, you can go to the website. That's arhq.com. Find out more about the entire team at America's Retirement Headquarters. Also schedule a time there as well. Or you can just give a call right now, and that's 419-794-3030.